I'm sorry, Nancy?
Peaboard.
Peaboard, yes, okay.
I'm a letter
You've
carrier.
written me.
Yes.
And I know you, of course.
Yes, you do know.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm a letter carrier.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate your office.
I've been out on your route.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate your office help with a retirement question that I had, because they called somebody, they got right back to me, so I appreciate that. My question though is there any movement on the pre-funding of health benefits within the Postal Service so we can save the, 6-day delivery? And my other question has to do with the federally qualified health center. Somebody related that Muhlenberg's closed, but during Hurricane Sandy, our health center was shut down for almost 2 weeks because they didn't have a generator to run it. And so I don't understand why FEMA or Homeland Security or somebody doesn't give federally qualified health centers generators, so in case there's a disaster, at least we have someplace to go if we need medical attention.
I think you've written me about this.
No, that I didn't.
Someone has written me about
yes,
that.
Okay.
Yes.
And my other question has to do with, I appreciate you doing the preserving open space and historic sites and preserving battlefields for the Revolutionary War. Will state militia posts qualify under that for matching grants? Because Greenberg Park was a state militia post. It was for the Battle of Short Hills.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was. And I've been trying to work with the county to try to apply for a battlefield protection grant, matching grant, and to save and to refix up.
Three good points. First of all, with respect to the Postal Service, the employees of the Postal Service have, I don't need to tell you, their own retirement plans and, their own arrangements. And Congress has required that the federal government, or actually that the USPS, pay into the pension plan at a greater rate than any employer would ever want to do or be required to do. And so when you hear that the Postal Service is in trouble and has to cut back on delivery, and there's a big debate whether they should go to 5-day delivery, and if so, which days, and all of that, that wouldn't be necessary if the Postal Service were not required to put more money each year into this pension than is necessary. Now, I've never been one to recommend paying less into pensions, because I've seen what the state of New Jersey has done, I've seen what so many employers and others have done in shortchanging their pensions and leaving people trapped, basically, at the time of retirement. But the Postal Service doesn't need to do this, except Congress makes them do it. So Congress could excuse them from doing it. You've asked whether there's progress. The progress is that Congress is beginning to understand that now. You've been vocal, the letter carriers and the postal workers and the others have been vocal about that, so people are beginning to understand there isn't yet progress in the legislation to fix it. Secondly, federally qualified health centers. Under the Affordable Care Act, that most people know as Obamacare, one of the provisions, and there are many provisions in the bill, people ask, why is it so big? Well, because we have 320 million Americans now, each one getting health care in a slightly different way, and it's a complicated business. It's a complicated collection of agencies and businesses. And one of the things that was in the Affordable Care Act was a provision to fund more federally qualified health centers around the country. We don't have too many in Union County. We could use more. We could use more actually in just about every county in New Jersey. So far, the funding has not been provided to do that. As you may know, there are some enemies of the Affordable Care Act in Congress. We've had more than 55 votes now to repeal all or part of the Affordable Care Act. 55 votes. At first they said, these opponents of health care, repeal and replace. Now they've stopped saying replace because they haven't been able to come up with anything better. They haven't been able to come up with a replacement to suggest. So now they're just talking about repealing. But one of the things that has suffered is the expansion of federal qualified health centers. We should have more money for them to create more and to make them work better. And if that means providing emergency generators and so forth, that should be part of it. But FEMA does have a program for providing emergency generators, and let's look into whether one can be made available for particularly vulnerable health centers. And on the battlefields, I've been trying to get battlefields of the Revolution and the War of 1812 included along with the existing protection for Civil War battlefields. That goes back a couple of decades for Civil War battlefields. When they passed that, they neglected to include other important battle sites in American history. And so there's nothing from the War of 1812 or the Civil War included in that battlefield, in that federal battlefield protection legislation. That's what I'm working on. It's known as the Holt Bill. I've been trying to get that done. So there are, even if it passes, there will not be a large windfall to get more funding to preserve battlefields, but there will be some.
Thank you.